Okay, so just wanted to give you a little bit of background into why we did this, why we are doing this. So the Research Coordination Network is a relatively new vehicle by the National Science Foundation, essentially aimed at bringing together communities that never usually meet. And previously it has been used to bring together biologists and economists and sociologists and so on. And when we started this, when I was thinking about millimeter waves, I was thinking this really doesn't seem like disparate communities. But then thinking back, it is actually kind of a disparate community. The industry folks and the academic folks largely do things in isolation. There is some knowledge transfer where we kind of look at what others are doing, but we really don't get together. We don't really share knowledge. We all, for example, I was at GlobeCom yesterday, right? So we have this beautiful industry demos, papers. The industry guys really don't go out there and talk to the academic guys and so on, vice versa, right? We come and watch, great, good job, move on. So we thought that there really needs to be a much more deeper level of interaction between these two groups, two communities. And one of the reasons why we want is we want knowledge transfer and active knowledge transfer, not just passive. We don't want people to come in and listen to what is being done. We want people to come in and know what is going to be done. Therefore, you don't waste your cycles, trying to replicate that stuff, or know who to go to look for in 6 months from now when you want answers to something, right? So, and usually it's always the case that one of these two groups is ahead of the curve. Industry is ahead of the curve, or the academics are ahead of the curve, or they're doing a lot of work in this space and the industry is catching up. Something or the others happens in many of these sectors, but millimeter wave is such a beautiful space right now. It's just exploded thanks to the FCC's Spectrum Frontiers ruling that everybody is now taking keen interest, and we are all almost at the same level. Right, so when I go, I have presented some of the work that's done by our academic colleagues, and at many of these industry workshops, and they're like, "Oh, wow, this is so awesome!" And I see the same reaction from the academic guys when they see industry demos. "Oh, this is so cool!" So, which means we are on the same page, and therefore we have much more to gain by actively working together, right? So, what does a typical research coordination network do? Again, we do these workshops. But what do we do at these workshops, which is more important? It's not just come here and say, this is what we have done, but rather, this is what we want to do, this is the roadmap, and this is my part in it, and this is, who wants to take this part? And industry, in this case, for example, industry can come and say, here are what we see as the pressing problems in this space in order to make this a reality. And we are working on this in the next 2-3 years. And then we say, we are looking for people who would be interested in solving these other problems. And hopefully, our academic colleagues can step up to the challenge and say, all right, I think this is in my area, and I will start working on this. I know I'm working on this, for example, or I would like to partner with you to know more about this and see what I can do. So that would be the kind of, network forming that I would like to see as part of this RCN effort, right? And therefore, that's the reason why we have frequent meetings, twice a year. This field is moving crazy fast. The standards, at least if you believe the standards guys, it's going to be done next year, right? And if not, maybe within the next 2 years. And therefore, having this frequent biannual meetings is going to be very critical to ensuring that we progress together. So that's the main purpose. So what I would like all of you to really do is put your thinking hats on, right? Look into the future. Look into the future, I'd say 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years from now. Chart out what do you think has to be done in order to get there. So we all are assuming with the basic premise that millimeter wave communication is going to happen. We are going to see this millimeter wave small femtocells or whatever that's going to be around in all these rooms in 5 years' time. At least that's the vision that everybody is projecting. With that in mind, what problems need to be solved? Let's put that on the table, and let's break it down into sub pieces. Create a chart, right? Like a mind map kind of thing. Like which needs to get, what are the dependencies, which problems need to be solved first, and so on. And let's publish this for the entire community to see. And clearly, of course, since you are here, the benefit of you being here is to partner with other folks, other academics and the industry colleagues and so on, and continue to work. And I can tell you that all the steering committee members who are involved at the academic side are heavily networked with the industry folks. So if you are not one of the steering committee members, it's your turn to form those new networks here, okay, and build upon those. So that's the main purpose of the RCN. Again, my personal goal is to see this as an example of how the NSF can foster innovation and also help work with industry together to create immediate change, of course, and create jobs and economic impact and so on. The larger picture is something that we always worry about. So that said, I have to thank Akbar for doing a phenomenal job for putting together such a great team. So I just want to give a big round of applause to Akbar and Shinyu. Okay. And I also want our host Hang for doing a wonderful job on such short notice, especially with Globecom around the corner. And I think with all the logistics are great, and we're looking forward to 2 exciting days of meetings. So thanks to you. Thank you once again. All right.